Hey everyone, it's Jason, and this is your weekend cruise news update. And we have two wild stories of passengers being left stranded by their cruise ships. And Princess may be looking to make major changes to their Princess Plus and Princess Premium packages. So cruise story number one, and this really reinforces a couple things. One, you always need to make sure you understand ship time and when you need to be back to the ship. And if you're going to be in some remote areas of the world, it might be worth spending a little extra and using the ship excursions. So what happened was a group of 8 individuals took a private excursion in Sao Tome. This is an island off the African coast on the Atlantic side. Well, when they got back to the pier to take a tender, because it was a tender port, there was no tender waiting for them. The harbor pilot said, hey, I can take you out to the ship, and the captain refused, even though they were still there. Now, this is where the gray area is, because a lot of people that were on the ship kind of explained what they had heard had happened. And what they said is beforehand, they said they were warned about taking private excursions in this island because they're notoriously late. And if this happened, they would make sure to basically have your passport and anything that you needed to get to the next area or port, and they would hand that over to the harbor master. So it's likely when they tried to take them out there and the captain refused, they knew that their passports had already been handed over to the harbor master. So there's a little interesting gray area of what happened there. Now here's the sad part is, the 8 individuals, they were interviewed. Two of them are from South Carolina, and they said that one has a heart condition, one is a paraplegic, and one is pregnant. Don't put yourself in these situations. It's just not worth it. But it's a really thing that it reiterates is it worth it saving some money going off on some private excursion, $20, $30, $40 a person when you're in an island like Sao Tome in the middle of nowhere. Now, yes, you could take shoreexcursionsgroup.com. They guarantee to get you back to the ship, or they'll make sure to get you to the next port. But is it worth it in an area like that? So do you guys take independent tours, or do you use only the ship excursions? Let me know. So cruise story number 2, and just a quick update on the Carnival Freedom. So after their fire, they headed back to Port Canaveral and dropped off the passengers. And they headed to Grand Bahama Island, and that's where the shipyard is, where they already cut off the wings on the funnel and modified the stacks. The question is do you think Carnival will wait until the next scheduled dry dock or maintenance? They have to do it every 5 years by law in order to replace that whale tail funnel, or do you think they'll do it as soon as possible? Let me know what you guys think. So cruise story number 3, and I can't figure out who's at fault on this one. There's a lot of pointing of fingers. So what happened is there was a travel agent, she's from Minnesota, and she booked her annual group cruise. And it was a 90s group cruise with 90s music, things like that, on the Carnival Horizon. Well, passengers booked, and there was roughly 250 to 300 passengers that booked this. One number of passengers get to Miami, they get to the port, and they're told, we don't have a cabin for you. We don't have your name on this cabin. We don't know nothing about it. Now the travel agent is pointing her finger at Carnival, and Carnival is pointing the finger back at her. So this group of passengers, and we've heard numbers that range from 26 to 50. So we're going to go with that. Said, she looked at them and said, I'm going to make it right. You'll get on the ship. She got on the ship and was never seen again. Now, here's the thing is, if you don't know this already, they don't let you back off the ship. So when she got on that ship, she got on, she had a cabin, but many of her passengers, many of her clients did not. Now, when the local news in Minnesota reached out to them, they reached out to this travel agent, she admitted that they were canceled, a number of her passengers, her clients, on February 21st. And this just seems bizarre to me. She went to try to rebook it on the 22nd, and it was already sold out. Something just doesn't sound right there. Now, here's the thing is, she said the money was refunded, and it's sitting with her host travel agency. Now, if you don't know what that means is, all travel agents work under a host. So I've been looking at becoming a travel agent, and I'm looking at other agents. That's who I would work under as my host company. She's working for a company called Travel Joy. Now, I looked at them, great ratings, everything, just wasn't going to be my fit. Now, the interesting thing about all this is they apparently have the money. Now, this is what she's saying. Why would they have the money for over 6 weeks and not refund it? And why would you not tell your clients who are flying from Minnesota to Miami, hey, Carnival overbooked this cruise, this and this happened. And usually when Carnival does things like this, overbooks cruise, cancels things, they're going to offer some compensation. They just are. They're going to offer, maybe a future cruise credit, 25% or 50% or even more. They've been known to do the right thing. Not always, but many times. And no one can answer what is going on. Can you imagine you show up to the port and you're told, oh, I'm so sorry, your cabin's for someone else. Now, I thought, well, how do these people not check in online, all this stuff? And how did she not help them? Because they were being interviewed via FaceTime. Seemed like they knew how to work their FaceTime real well. It wasn't like they were, knew nothing about technology. It's just a really weird thing. Now, when you watch this kind of article, and I here's the thing, they paid their final payment in June of 2023. Another red flag there. Why would you pay your final payment in June of 2023? We know you don't have to pay your final payment until 90 days before. Now, maybe there's a group cruise thing and you needed to pay before that, but not 10, 11 months before. Just so many red flags on this. Now, one thing I will say, if you ever book through a travel agent or anyone, make sure as soon as you book that you get a receipt. And the second thing I always do is I get on that app and make sure my reservation's there. I absolutely do it immediately. Now, sometimes it takes 48 hours to show up. Sometimes it'll happen right away. But I always am checking right away. And then on your credit card statement, many times you can go and look in your credit card. It should say like Royal Caribbean or Celebrity Cruises took your money. Not some travel agency. Those are a couple things to be aware of when you book through a travel agent. I just think it's a weird story. What do you guys think about this? As more information comes out, I hope I can provide a little more information and clarity on this. So before I get to cruise story number 4, I would ask that you please like this video as it does help the channel grow. Also, consider subscribing as we're on the path to 100,000 subscribers by the time we go on our Alaskan cruise at the end of August. If you could do that for me, I would greatly appreciate it. So cruise story number 4 and Princess Cruises might be looking to make major changes to their Princess Plus and Princess Premier packages. So they're sending surveys out to their passengers asking, would these items entice you or encourage you to buy the packages? And the first question was a shore excursion credit. So for example, 7 to 12 days would receive $100 shore excursion credit. And the second question was, would unlimited specialty dining encourage you to buy it? Now they note Princess Plus does not have any specialty dining included in it, but Princess Premier obviously does, where you can go twice on Princess Premier to specialty dining. Now, when I see surveys like this, I automatically think they're looking to raise the prices. And that's a shame because Princess Plus, in my opinion right now, is probably the best value on any package out there in the cruise industry. When you look at it, so if you're in just a balcony cabin, right now for 2 people, you're looking at gratuities, which is included in the Princess Plus. It's $225. And then if you want Wi-Fi, it's $24.99 per person for 1 device, or you might as well buy the $44.99 for 4 devices. When you do the math, you're looking like the beverage package portion of that is only going to cost you $300. And if someone that's not a big drinker, even like myself, it boils down, I think, to like $21 a day. It's like a drink and a half a day. It's not a big deal. It's a really good value for the money. Do you buy the packages right now? And would you be interested in some of these other items like a shore excursions credit and unlimited specialty dining? Let me know in the comments. I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much for the support. And until I talk to you next week, happy cruising.